Peace, peace, peace. Can you hear me, guys?
Alright. Sounds like everything working good. Just click on headphones.
Yeah.
All right, all
Okay.
right. We back once again, Dr. Alim Bey, and we got a featured guest tonight. If y'all know who she is, I advise you go to her website, go to her YouTube page, go to Instagram, go to TikTok, wherever she's at. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you check her out. Make sure you become one of her fans because the goddess goes in deep. And you're going to see just a little bit of that demonstration tonight. So we want to give her a round hand of applause, as well as also, she is also a musician. So you get ready to hear probably a fantastic, awesome, great, I don't even know how many words we can use for this right here because yo, the goddess skills is out of the world for the music right now. You know, I know if y'all like Iniko, y'all definitely gonna love this Campson right here. So we getting ready to play that for you, and just chill, feel the vibe, and we getting ready to go live.
Ashe. That was beautiful. So y'all, Dr. Alim Bey, he's on the other end. If you all, of course you just can see me. I didn't know how to get him on the screen, but you all will be able to hear everything and let me know if the sound is good. And after we play some music, we go jump right into the bill. And we'll go ahead and get started. So this song that I'm gonna play is called "Slide into Aquarius." I'm streaming on all platforms right now. All you have to do is search my name, and you'll see an image of a woman with wings, and so that's me. And you can just vibe to the music. And I feel like music is imperative when you're in a frequency war, and that's what all of this is. It's all about energy, frequency, and vibration. So without further ado, this is Sliding to the Age of Aquarius. Let me know if the sound is okay, y'all.
I'm fucking my mind.
I'm fucking my body, learning to trust. Know that I got it.
Okay.
I'm doing my best. That is enough. I don't do stress. That is no love. Speaking mother tongue, I collapse, evil eye. I owe horrors and a Fatima. You know that I got rotating what is mine like a spiritual Bugatti. Somatic exorcism, deleting trauma in my body. I reclaim all the fuck that I gave on the past. I return all the fuck, keeping us dividing the class. At the end of the day, the 3D matrix is trash. Violators and haters is exposing they own ass. We don't crash out, we cashing in on ascension. We don't burn down, we rebuilding a vision. We don't run, we don't hide. We the ones who gon' ride. We go sliding through the age of Aquarius. Like who am I? Who am I? I'm the cycle breaker, soul healer, no realer. I'm organic, I exist with no filler. We don't crash out, we cashing in on ascension. We don't burn down, we rebuilding a vision. We don't run, we don't hide. We the ones who gon' ride. We go sliding through the age of Aquarius. Like who am I? Who am I? I'm the cycle breaker, soul healer, no realer. I'm organic, I exist with no filler. I try to like me, but my mind is fighting, and old me is dying, and a child is crying. I know that I'm the rebirth walking. Dark, there's no evil. I am the beginning of a new era. Gen X, sacred above error, wheel in this trauma. Forgiving our mamas, forgiving the daddies. We don't want no drama, birthing our down. We cashing in on ascension, we don't burn down. We rebuilding a vision, we don't run, we don't hide. We the ones who gon' ride. We go slide into the age of Aquarius. Like who am I? Who am I? I'm the cycle breaker, soul healer, no realer. I'm organic, I exist with no filler.
So that's slide into Aquarius. Yeah.
That's it right there. It's time to slide into the age of Aquarius, y'all.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think one of the lead factors would be Campson herself. So just remember this information that she getting ready to drop tonight as we slide into the age of Aquarius. What you got for us tonight, Goddess?
You slid right into that smooth. Okay, let me make sure that I'm ready to do what I'm ready to do. What I'm gonna do, because the way that I create is I channel transmissions. So this transmission, sometimes it comes through in images, sounds, words, and throughout the cycle, my sleep cycles, I get confirmation. And so I take everything, I write it down, and I try to organize it in a way where I can kind of like go through it. So I'm going to spend some time going through some information. It's channeled information. And, you know, of course, my brother, he go jump in and add whatever, you know, comes through that he want to share as well. So first, I want to start off by saying this. If you are someone who is alive in this time, it means that you are very important in this moment. If you are going through your day-to-day life and it sometimes feel like you're not doing enough or you're not living purposefully, I just want you to know that this is not just a transmission, but this is an activation. So I don't want to intellectually run you around in circles and tell you a bunch of stuff. It's going to definitely have you feeling away. But I see a lot of that. And my purpose is to actually bring solutions. So we are aware of the problems. We see the issues that are happening. But bringing solutions is a whole different story. So I want to start off by saying this. Trap music is something that kind of emerged after hip hop. And you must realize, when you are someone who is a ninth etheric being, that's the highest etheric consciousness in human form that's accessible, being embodied. What we speak, what we listen to, what we create, what we think, what we do, the way that we behave creates ripples, not just across your reality. It creates ripples that permeate the cosmos, because we are galactic cosmic beings. Years ago, we taught you how to find your galactic frequency. how to figure out what your galactic signature is. So this is kind of playing off of that. So I want you to see that music is not just music, but it's actually magic. And this is why you see the similarity between musician and magician. So within the control prison planet system, however, there are these architects, the ones who want to be the architects. We have the demiurge and we have the archons. The archons work for the demiurge. And so they feed on the energy that permeates from us. And again, if you are neuromelanated, EU melanated dominant, that you can take all of this information and know that it's amplified. Okay? So you didn't come here to marinate in the problem. You came here to be a solution to the issues that exist on this planet. I'm going to go over some of the spiritual mechanics of Kabbalah based in sympathetic magic and how to reverse the destiny swap. I'm going to go over the truth about EU melanin as a quantum receiver and a biological stargate. I'm going to go over why religious wars are some of the worst wars and how to not feed into those timelines. I'll be going over the Kundalini oil ritual. This is a really practical ancient method for you to raise your own crystals, cerebrospinal fluid from the spine to the Ark of the Covenant, which is the mind. I'm going to tell you a really simple, practical way that you can do that. I'm going to go over the gratitude field protocol. I have a song called Gangsta Gratitude where I took that protocol and embedded it in a song. And the reason that I'm doing this is because reprogramming the subconscious mind is always going to be the key to anything that you would like to attain, receive, or manifest. I'm also going to go over some information that I recently channeled and added to this. So that's an overview. Without further ado, I'm going to start off with you being a Stargate. We are not victims. And I know sometimes it can feel that way. But we are not victims to our circumstances. We are antennas. Our body is actually a vehicle. It's the Merkaba. It's a vehicle. The light body is being activated. The light body is actually your connective tissue. It's fueled by your lymphatic system. So the fascia, which is the connective tissue, it's crystalline in its structure. And it holds all of this information. Every experience that you have ever had in any lifetime is encoded within you. I just want you to see how amazing it is to be a biological stargate and to have a body. And Kabbalah, the tree of life, is not just a diagram on a page, but it's actually the architecture of our nervous system. The 10 Sephirah corresponds with specific energy centers in the spine and the brain. So Keter would be the crown. It sits at the top of the skull. You have Malkuth, which is the kingdom. It's rooted in the pelvis. And between them runs Ida and Pingala. And these two serpents of Kundalini energy, they move through the nervous system around the spinal column like a double helix, which sounds a lot like the DNA structure. And with this energy that we are receiving now, we're going through literal DNA activations to activate aspects of ourselves that have been lying dormant. The fluoride in the water, the lead in the pipes, the heavy metals in the air, all of these things, it was to create planetary lockdown. The pineal gland is shaped like a tiny pine cone. It's connected to the Pingala nerve. This releases a masculine electrical substance that's sometimes called the honey, which contains DMT, the spirit molecule that opens the door to non-physical reality. Okay?
That's right.
The pituitary gland. I need you all to know why you are a Stargate before we proceed so that you get the full benefit of what we're doing tonight. The pituitary gland is the master gland of the endocrine system. It's connected to the Ida nerve. This releases the feminine magnetic substance called the milk. This milk is nourishing. It's receptive. The frequency allows the honey to be integrated. So the sacred heavens is not somewhere out there and up and away. They are the holy portions of your own biology. This is the land flowing with milk and honey. It's not a geographical place. I know that there's a certain gemstone people who want to claim that land to be the place. But we are the third temples, and we are being rebuilt and reconstructed. Now, the throne of God is your heart. Ancient texts give the exact measurements of the chambers of the heart. It's the same dimensions as the Holy of Holies in the temple. So your heart is the mercy seat, and the Ark of the Covenant is from the sternum up to the brain. Your spine is the tree of life. Your cerebral spinal fluid is the river that flows from the throne. And the Ark of the Covenant, the vault of your skull, this is why Three-Eye Atlas came into our reality. None of us probably knew much about Three-Eye Atlas until it happened. Atlas represents the portion of the skull that sits on top of the neck. And in a lot of ancient philosophy, it talks about Atlas. So you have an activation that's happening within the Atlas. If you've been having neck pain, if you've been having headaches back here, ringing in the ears, any of those things, this is an activation we're going through, and we're purging what is no longer serving us so that we can reach a different level of consciousness. So you don't need to go to a temple. Now, that's your personal choice. That's your personal choice. But you are the temple. You are the priest. You are everything that you have ever asked for or needed. The demiurge stole this knowledge and sold it back to people as religion. Listen to the word religion. That is, means to do again, legion as in thousands of demons. So what this is saying is that within our anatomy, within the shadow aspects that we all have, this is our inner demons. Everybody walking on this planet got something. When you don't know how to tame your dragon, okay, religion is for those who cannot take that responsibility yet to tame their own demons, to be integrated with their self. Doesn't mean that they're any less than anybody. It's just different. It is a different way of existing. And so this is why I believe that the body, that we are biological stargates. Anything you wanted to add, fam?
Whew. Look, that was plenty. I just wanted to say that the milk which that she's referring to, and which that is produced by the pituitary gland, is known as HGH, human growth hormone. Mm-hmm. And when human growth hormone mixed with the DMT, we have what is called biblically the land of milk and honey, the land of Canaan. So that's the land of Canaan in which that the Bible is really talking about, is that. And Moses couldn't enter into the land of Canaan because of his lower self, in which that was based on murder, as murder is part of the lower self. And remember, he killed 2 Egyptians as a Hebrew, so he was not allowed to enter into the land of Canaan. He was able to go up to Mount Sinai and look over into the land of Canaan, but he was not able to enter into it. So that shows that, yeah, he had the capability or the potential to activate these particular glands, but he was not able to do so because of his previous feelings, his previous hurts, his previous murderous lifestyle in which that he had, that obviously he never forgave himself for. And so this is what we see throughout the Bible story of Moses. And, that's just to keep something in mind there about what's really going on.
Absolutely. Which is why the biggest danger that I see happening right now, so many people are talking about the portals that are activated on Mama Earth, but I don't see as many people focused on, okay, but what about me? What am I being a portal for? What is being activated in me? What am I allowing to come through me? Which leads me to the next thing, because I was saying, so many people are like, yes, power in the melanin, and I'm flexing my melanin, and it sounds great, but it's a responsibility that comes with having more EU melanin, neuromelanin, and operating as a biological stargate. So I'm gonna get into a little bit of the melanin, and of course, Fam's gonna come in and share what he want to share, but you have to. The reason you have to regulate your nervous system is so that you could tame your dragon. And the reason that when we had the eclipse in 2024, people that were out watching the eclipse were seeing dragons. And I had talked about this years ago. And I want you to know that as within, so without. And so I have it decoded on my Patreon where I really went deep into that, and Venezuela and what the fossil fuels is about, and the oil and the blood of dragons. But there can be more than one truth. There can be parallel truths and meanings to things.
Right.
So EU melanin is not just a dark brown black pigment. It is actually a superconductor. It is a quantum processor. And it's capable of absorbing, storing, and transmitting light across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. All right, that's major right there. EU melanin is the ninth ether that's made manifest. So in esoteric anatomy, the ninth ether is the highest vibrational layer of the human energy field. It's the blueprint where your soul is interfacing with the physical world. So those with high EU melanin are biologically optimized to download stellar frequencies from Sirius, from Orion, from the galactic core, even from Betelgeuse, which we talked about years ago. Me and Dr. Bey did that decoding together. And so these are some of the things as to why when something happens in the so-called indigenous community, right? Not so-called, but African American, all them other words that they call us, you notice that the whole world talks about it when something happens with us. And look at people overseas and how it's almost like they want to take on our likeness, the music, the dance, the culture. And you have to wonder, like, what is it about us that make people in these other countries, they have their own culture. But why do they want to do this? And so it has a lot to do with what we're talking about now. So in ancient Kemet, this is the black land, right? So this was the seat of a lot of the mystery schools. The dark, the fertile soil of the Nile was a reflection of the dark, the fertile melanin in the bodies of its priests and priestesses. Black was not the absence of light. It was the womb in which light is birthed. So before light can even exist, darkness has to exist. Okay, so the demiurge system knows this. This is why melanated bodies have been targeted. Lately, we have been hearing about it a lot. People are going missing. People are finding people hanging like fruit. Okay, this is happening a lot lately, and it's turning up more and more, and there is a reason for that. Okay, and it has a lot to do with what I'm talking about the power that we hold. And if you don't have access to other dimensions and realities and higher levels of consciousness, then your goal is going to be to dominate the people that do, to control the culture of the people that do. Right? So we have dialysis centers. They clustered in black neighborhoods. I ain't gonna go real deep today, but I did want to talk about this because me and my brother talked recently about some things that we were sharing. And I'm sure y'all have noticed this. So the kidneys hold ancestral essence. Okay? They hold willpower. It actually stores this multi-generationally. Okay, so with the chronic illness that we're seeing the rise in, it's not a random disease. It's not some type of just misfortune and happenstance. There's no such thing as coincidence. It is an attack on this specific population that holds genetic keys to planetary ascension. So this is why not only do you see dialysis, you have to wonder, where's the plasma going? because everybody that goes in there is getting all of this plasma pulled out of them, but we never hear about where it goes.
Right.
Nobody talks about where it goes. And it's almost like it's just this, we know more about where trash go than we do the plasma that's coming out of black bodies, right? And so in next time around, I got to figure out what container I'm going to use to do that one, because that one is, that one took me deep, okay? And really, I'm just kind of scraping the surface right now, but I want you to see how important it is for you to take care of your body. This is what this is taking me back to, because your body is not just a physical body like you were told. And the memory, the epigenetic memory, this is the environment of our ancestors. It's programmed within us, okay? Even if you have not had certain experiences, the ancestors' experiences, epigenetic is programmed within us. I believe that it can go as far back as 14 generations. That's me personally. I believe it can go back that far. So what they were going through, that trauma impacted us just coming through the womb. So let's say your life was pretty okay. Your parents was very loving. They did everything that they could for you. You still have trauma that not only came from previous ancestors, but from past lives. So this is why I don't believe that spiritual activation is something that should exist without emotional regulation and taking care of your body. And some of the things that you can do for the kidneys that are simple would be Tai Chi, Qigong, doing energy work, making sure that you're hydrating properly. Me personally, I like to tap my kidneys, so I kind of swing my body and let my hands tap my kidneys each morning. You kind of want to wake them up and get them ready for the day, because fear and anxiety is processed in the kidneys as well. And so much fear coming through the news. We're being bombarded with it everywhere we look. You can't even really get away from it. And so to be able to protect your auric field from a lot of the disturbances that's happening, to keep us feeding the archons, is to take care of your body, specifically kidneys, lymphatic system, and nervous system. I really think that them would be the top 3 for anybody who is walking this path of spirituality, especially. Anything did I miss anything or trigger any thoughts?
You hitting all the points necessary.
Yeah,
you hitting definitely all the points necessary, and I agree. Definitely lymphatic system, nervous system, as well as also, the filtering system, i.e. your kidneys. Because as we know, fear is stored in the kidneys, so I'm seeing a lot of people, with those issues, and it's because, they got us believing that these are the last days, when it's really not the last days. It's the end of an era, end of an age, the end of the Kali Yuga age, and the beginning of the age of what's called the Sata Yuga. The golden age has come upon us. So, this is where we need to be looking at. We call it the age of Aquarius, as you spoke about. We call it the age of Heru. We call it, many different names in which that has been, told to us. So, it's necessary to, like you said, to be medically, holistically prepared for what is taking place. And, those areas of the body is definitely needed.
Absolutely. And I some of the other things that I feel like be really super important for anybody who they have this new word that they're using, like biohacking, right?
Right.
But to activate your melanin antenna, sunlight, especially sunrise and sunset, of course, grounding, many ways to do grounding, but grounding is definitely helpful. Listening to frequencies that resonate with Sirius, which I found to be 528 hertz, is a really good frequency to connect with the celestial energies. And parasite cleaning, the body, heavy metals, gut parasites. Because what happens with the parasites is, that's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to even try to get too deep in that one right now. But so like,
let's just
it's a lot.
Relate or correlate the parasites or worms to demons.
Exactly.
And we leave it at that for the moment.
Exactly. Because they are some instigators. Let me tell you, they will instigate and twist your thoughts, and have you feeling a way that is not even based in reality. So this is what they do. And they send out frequencies, and they mess with our neurotransmitters, our hormones, and our chemicals. And so those are some other things that you can be aware of. Simple things, black walnut. There are simple things that you can do. You don't have to try to be perfect. Just if you haven't started, at least start somewhere. That's the goal. The next transmission that came through that I was being compelled to share was about consciousness and the war over the soul. So in ancient Kemet, they call the soul the Ka, right? And so this is where the Merkaba, it comes from. The Ka was the life force. It's the vital spark. The Ba was it's like your personality, who you show up as in this world, is the unique character about you. But we travel between worlds. Every time we go to sleep at night, we're traveling. We're able to disconnect from the physical and travel. And so when the Ka and the Ba is reunited after death, that's when they become the Ak, right? This is the luminous, glorified spirit that lived among the stars. This is essentially light body energy, okay?
That's right.
So this is the same process as a Kundalini awakening. The Ka is the serpent energy, is coiled at the base of the spine. The Ba is the awakened consciousness in the crown. And when the two unite, you become the Ak. And so you become sovereign. You become someone who knows that you are deathless. A being who knows that I am already immortal. I'm not trapped in the reincarnation harvest cycle. And so when I flatlined the first time, I went into this light. And me being me, I was lucid enough to ask questions when I was there. I could see them working on me. I could hear them trying to bring me back. But I could also feel everything that was happening to me in the non-physical. And so this bright light, this is what it does. It seduces you. It gives you this warm feeling that going into this light is what you are supposed to do. Okay?
That's right.
And I had people there that passed before me, and I mean, it felt like a welcoming party. It was just like we was having a family reunion. It was a great feeling. But that's what made me suspicious. And I decided, I was like, no, I'm gonna go back into my body. And in that moment, things flashed before me had not happened yet. Children that I would have in the future, people that I would meet, flashed before my eyes. And the next thing I know, I was back in my body. I was on life support for a little while. This happened to me twice. And the second time, I went to what we would call hell, the underworld. And there were many layers to this. And I traveled through this underworld, and the blackness was so black. I couldn't see my hand in front of me, but I could still see out at a distance what was happening. And so there was one particular man who, through the way he raised his children, he created generational curses. And he was re-experiencing the generational curse that he sustained and created. And so he had molested his children, and his children were now molesting their children. He was witnessing this as it was happening, screaming and yelling, "Don't do what I did," and they couldn't hear him. That was his personal torment and torture. So at the time I was a Christian, I didn't fully understand what I was being taught in that experience. And so fast forward, as I went through the awakening and did my due diligence, And I realized that these are states of the mind. And where you go when you leave the body is very much determined by your nervous system. What's in your nervous system? What's embedded in your nervous system? What have you done with your subconscious mind? What do you do with your energy? All of this is a determining factor. So don't think of these things as places outside of us, but think of them as more so states of consciousness. And this is why two people can be in the same neighborhood and have two totally different experiences. You know, some people that's lived in the hood, they love it. And they like, this my family. And we barbecue and we do this. And they know how to stay out the drama. But then you got other people that's in the hood and they going through hell. So it's all a matter. Everything is frequency, energy, and vibration. And so what I realized is that it's not all negative that we were called black people. It's always more than one side to things. And yes, a lot of us are clear on the negative part of it. It's like how that plays a role in court. It positions us to show up as dead people. And if we're showing up as corpses, then there are a lot of laws that will not protect us because we don't know who we are. And we don't know the language that has been used against us. So things like the Book of Coming Forth by Day, you know, Book of the Dead, just listen to the language. These books are not about dying, but they're more so manuals about ascension, for being able to, just because you're alive don't mean that you living. And so the spells are encoded frequencies within our language, within the court system, the political system. It has been used against us, and this is why it is crashing down now. This is just the natural flow of what happens. So by you healing yourself and healing your own shadows, the trials of the duat, right? The trials of the underworld, these are the challenges that we go through, and we have to make decisions and we have to weigh things, right? So look at your day-to-day life as part of your spiritual journey, because it is. And, so the demiurge, it doesn't want us to become the Ak. It doesn't want us to become this higher version of us. It wants us to stay trapped in the false light. And it is my personal belief that religion was created to be just that, to be that false light, to comfort people. It's comforting. I would have died. I wouldn't be here in my physical body if I would allow myself to be seduced by the light. It was very comforting. And it was the first time I had never experienced pain. And it was also the first time that I could not remember anything that happened prior to that moment. So when people say when you go to heaven and all the old things are passed away, that's amnesia. That's your mind being wiped of previous life experiences, which is what keeps you incarnating at a low vibrational level, because you were not able to hold on and attain the wisdom and knowledge that you had from the previous lifetimes.
Yeah, that's right.
I almost had me ready to die. So, well,
I'm glad you got suspicious.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. You're like, something ain't right.
It felt too good.
You might have been a Christian, but even Christians know when something ain't right.
Exactly. I'm telling you. I was like, hold on now. I've experienced a lot of things, but how good that felt, I was like, no, this can't be free.
Right.
This can't be free. Was there anything that you wanted to add before I got into the next transmission?
No, continue on.
Okay, awesome. So after these experiences, and if y'all are not new to me, a lot of people go viral talking about their near-death experiences, and I try to listen to them, but I find most of the time religion kind of just hijacks the conversation, and it doesn't really go where it could go.
That's right.
But that's my personal experience, and that's how I ended up going through this awakening. So I didn't grow up with woke parents or nothing like that. I I just went through I came here to have these experiences to awaken me. So the next thing I want to talk about was the architecture.
Hold on, guys. Before you go there, let me ask this question. All right. So after your experiences, what made you become awoke? You know, what caused you to awaken? You know, what did you do afterwards as far as, you know, having those experiences?
The first thing that I did was I learned that it was healthy for me to question everything.
Okay.
Because I was raised and I was taught that you are not supposed to question adults. Right. You are not supposed to question authority figures, and you don't question God. And
you don't question the pastor.
Exactly. And so what that did was it locked me in a box. And this is what it means to be a corpse. It's the inability to use your sovereignty to ask questions. So I started asking questions, and those questions led me to all the greats, you know, Dr. Ben, so many greats that had decoded religion and talked about this. And that's actually how I found you, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that was how I found you. And so I kept asking questions. And then once I started asking the questions, I started having lucid dreams that could not be explained by anything else. I started having experiences in my day-to-day life that couldn't be explained. Owl sitting on top of the house in the middle of the day. Like, why are you even out in the middle of the day? Just things that made no sense. It was almost like the Matrix was glitching. I started noticing synchronicities. I started waking up at 4:44 a.m., 3:33 a.m., like clockwork. It happened so much where it was undeniable that something was happening unique. And then after asking those questions, that led us to becoming Hebrew Israelites. And so we bang hard. I'm talking about we bang hard. We got outfits, whole Hebrew Israelite wardrobe. We had tassels. Like, when we do something, we gonna be fully committed to it. So it was like, okay, so we not Christians no more? All right, so we Hebrew Israelites now. So we banged it out with them, hung out with them, studied with them, went hard, changed our diet, you know, did all of that. And then, I don't know, somehow after that, I fell into sex magic in the tantric path, and I was like, okay, this is it. And in my exploration, then I found another video, Dr. Alim Bey and sex magic. I was like, okay, this is it. We on to something. So, you know, we got our spirits and our libations, and you know, and something really strange happened, but celebrities started coming to me in my dreams. And I'm not, you know, I don't really believe in that, you know.
Right.
I'm the type of person, if I run into Michael Jackson, you know, rising power, but I'll be like, what's up? How you been? You know, that's just how I see people as people.
Right, exactly.
So, you know, to dream about them, it wasn't because I was obsessive and such a big fan. And so Prince came to me 48 hours before he transitioned. You can't explain this. And it's all on my YouTube, and I can't fake that timestamp. It's there. He said to me, he said, you don't even know who you are. And I was like, what do you mean I don't know who I are? Yes, I know exactly who I am. And he was like, no, baby, you don't know who you are. And I was like, okay, tell me about it. And he was like, you're a version of Ishtar, Anana, Isis, Aphrodite. She has come by many names. Oshun. I had never heard any of these names. Woke up from the dream, started researching it. My mind was blown at the synchronicities, looking at my natal chart. And I realized that I'm a goddess of love and compassion. That's like my specific thing. People feel really good with me, you know. And I this is not something you can fake. You know, some people, they play nice, but you can kind of tell they nasty behind that. This, you can't fake this. And so we had a conversation, and he was telling me that this was the energy that he used as his muse. He was like, the reason I dressed the way that I dressed because I was tapping into that energy. And he was like, you know, this is not new. This is ancient. There are many indigenous cultures who knew the power of the feminine and tapped into the feminine energy for the purpose of creation. So I go on my YouTube, I go live. I'm like, I had a dream about Prince, and he told me that I'm a goddess, and because we documented the entire spiritual awakening journey, and 48 hours later he was dead. And I was like, okay, this is so. It was so many things that was happening that was unexplainable.
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, I didn't mean to stop you. You can continue on, guys.
Yeah, okay. It's trippy. That's why I tell people, like, go to both of my YouTube channels. It's time stamped, and you can see, like, oh, she was really,
Right. Well,
going through this.
Speaking of that, give us your YouTube channel.
It's just type in Untamed Souls 44, or you can just search my name, Camson, and both my new YouTube and my old YouTube will come up. Also, my music channel will come up. You'll see a music symbol by my name. That's the easiest way to find me. I chose a name not a lot of people would have, so I guess I wanted to make sure people could find me. But it's interesting that you asked me that. So this is when I learned that I was a medium, because he, like I said, within 72 hours. When we're going to transition into non-physical form, it's almost like we're dreaming. And so we still leave our body, and we can go and take messages to people, check on people, and do things. And I believe that's why he was able to come and communicate that message to me. But he ended up coming to me and telling me what happened to him in his death before any of the investigation started. That's on my YouTube channel. I told everybody what happened with this. Like, it played out exactly the way he told me it would. And so this is when I realized, okay, not only am I not just a woman, but I'm something different, because why am I able to see into the future? Why am I able to see multiple timelines? And so this has been happening to me my whole life. But when I started documenting it and uploading it, Ebola, the pandemic, I predicted those things between 2006 and 2014. So this was way before it had even happened. And just the accuracy.
We're trying to bring that out again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They doing it again. The way that I knew it was going to happen again, actually that just happened here recently, was the data centers, which I'm going to get into. Because that was in my dreams. I didn't know what it was. I was calling them FEMA camps with these huge machines that was controlling people. I didn't know what to call it. But that's what that's all about. And so this is why it's important for us to know who we are, what we're capable of, and what we can do. Because in a lot of these devices, quartz is not the main thing being used anymore. It's EU melanin. And because it's being used in devices as a conductor to help the quantum processors, there's a quantum entanglement that's happening within our communities as well. The data centers are rerouting the energy that they have been harvesting. They needed a new way to gain that energy, because we're leaving the old kingdoms, whether it's churches, temples, stadiums, going to basketball and football games, all like the way that they were able to get a lot of energy, we're pulling away from those things, right? So when the pandemic and the lockdowns happened, all of that stuff stopped. This was the first time in history that the Pope didn't come out and do his service, that the Jews, the small hats, shall I say, didn't come out and do their service. This was the first time this has happened. The NFL stopped, NBA stopped. The reason why that all stopped is because the galactic energy shifted. So as the veil was torn down, the galactic energy shifted. All of those things had to end. We had to be put in a timeout. We had to be still. But while we were being still, on the backside of that, the demigods were meeting and deciding the way that they were going to transition to the new digital kingdom. And this is why the show American Gods was so important for people who pay attention to the way that they put truth in entertainment. They was telling us what was about to happen. So these gods needed a new kingdom to be able to be in. And, and the next thing we're going to be seeing, they're going to want bodies. The archons want bodies.
That's right.
They don't want to just feed on us and attach to us and manipulate us into doing things. It's not enough for them anymore. And that's the thing. When you controlled by your lower nature, when you're controlled by your trauma, your lower chakras, nothing is never enough. You become a abyss. You become a black hole. And you're sucking and reaching and needing and sucking and reaching and needing, and I need and I gotta have and I need and I gotta have. And that's one of the most dangerous places for us to be in right now, in the way that we exist, behave, think, and move through life. And it's good to remind yourself of what you have and to be grateful and to just create mantras and say, everything that I have is exactly what it is that I need. And everything that I am is exactly who I need to be. You have to keep yourself on top of your demons. And ironically, the 72 demons of Goetia, they took 72 nations. The Queen of England assigned 72 nations to the 72 demons of Goetia. Each nation represents one of the demons of Goetia. And before she transitioned with the last, I call it Hunger Games, but you can call it the Olympics. You can, whatever the English people call theirs. She had a meeting, and y'all can Google this, the meeting of the 72 nations. Immediately, I knew exactly what that was. So they were meeting to reorganize, to figure out how they were going to do this. And this is why you saw Baal in the beginning of the Olympics, in the opening ceremony. This huge bull. And the bull in the center blowing fire through his nose. But who was around the bull? It was all women. There were no men around the bull. And they had chains and ropes where they were attached to the bull. But who was the only one that was able to calm the bull down? It was a black woman. And she walked up to the bull with a glowing crystal in her hand and held it up to the bull at the opening ceremony before the queen died. And I knew then what we were headed into.
Deep.
Yeah, absolutely. That decoding is actually on my Patreon. So I have a free tier, is free and up. Whichever tier you choose, is more information and decodings there. A lot of my stuff got took down. This is,
I'm sure.
I didn't know. I'm someone, my shadow aspect is that I don't look at myself and be like, oh, that's greatness happening. Because it's just me being me. It's just like going and making a sandwich for me. But when my stuff started getting pulled down, I was like, hold on. Because if I wasn't accurate, why would it be pulled down?
Exactly.
So this is why I had to get a Patreon.
Pulled down too, goddess. Yeah. That's what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So within the dimensional field that we're in now, with the collapse and everything that's happening. So with the astral realm, the dream realm, that's one realm they haven't been able to fully colonize. Okay? This is the realm that they want to be able to tap into. Because of the whole EU Melanin that we talked about, when the data center started running here in Memphis, something strange started happening in my dreams that had never happened before. And I knew that they had opened a portal. And so in my dreams, I started going to places that I knew I wasn't supposed to be. I fell asleep and I woke up. It looked like I was on an island, sitting around, what do you call a lagoon? It was a lagoon. It was 2 priests dressed in all white, sitting at the lagoon. A lot of women, children, other younger men. And this was kind of like where they bathed, where they got their water. You know, it felt like ancient times. And I'm standing there, I'm completely lucid. You know, and I'm like, I've never been here before. So I'm looking around, I'm like, this is okay. What the way it made me feel, I felt out of place. And I was like, okay, I either need to wake up or explore why I'm here. And I decided to explore. So I'm walking around, and this young lady walked up to me, and she had these scarves in her hand. And she was like, you know, I got these scarves. I think this scarf will look really good on you. And I was like, really? I'm just going to play along. I'm like, really? Okay, let me see what you got. Looking at the scarves. And this older black lady walked up to me, and she said, baby, I've been waiting on you. She was like, come here, let me tell you something. So I walked over there with the elderly lady. And as we're walking, I see the priests on my peripheral vision watching me. They was watching me the entire time. We walked off to the side of the lagoon around some of the palm trees, and it was a waterfall and a cave. And we got right to the waterfall, and she was like, come step up here to the side. And so now I'm standing in the cave with her. And this huge, massive, smoke-filled shadow was coming towards me. Before it even got close to me, I could feel it coming towards me. And I heard my higher I divine self, which some call the Ori, I heard it say to me, this is predatorial. Do not show fear to it, or it will consume your energy. So when I turned around to see it face to face, it stopped. Because of that shift in my mindset, it wasn't able to penetrate my energy field. And it stopped. We stood there facing each other. I took steps back away from it, never took my eyes off of it. Stepped out of the cave. The 2 priests, I almost fell when I stepped out of the cave in the lagoon. Had to catch myself, and I said, damn. The 2 priests looked at me and said, you are not supposed to be here. And you should not be using that language. I was like, let me get my ass out of here. And I woke myself up. So this started happening to me night after night after night. I said, those data centers are doing something. Because I don't usually go places like that. And if I do, it's intentional. You know, I'm meditating and I'm knowing, okay, I'm going to go and explore the astral realm and come back and gather information. Most of the information I create, my ebooks, my courses, the meditations that I create, they come from me leaving my body and bringing that information back. This is why most of the stuff that I say and share and do, you don't usually find it in a book that's already written.
Right.
And that's because of my connection to the Akash.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone wrote 72 conspirators of Set.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those 72 conspirators are the ones who did Osiris, aka Osaru or Osar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and chopped his body up into 14 pieces, in which that correlates to the 14 generations, in which that you spoke about earlier.
Sure does.
You know, and then bringing those pieces back together again. You know, something similar to Humpty Dumpty that they had us remembering or saying while we was children. You know, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure did.
And, you know, we had to put the pieces of the puzzle or pieces of Humpty Dumpty back together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was all symbolic to the story of Osiris or Osar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Isis or Set,
mm-hmm.
she went on the hunt, you know, through 7 caves to find, you know, those body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And the one in which that she could not find, you know, Tahuti had to make a clay replica of it because a crab or a catfish, as they say, based on the storyline. Of course, it's allegorical, but ate the phallus, you know. And this is why the phallus, as we know today, is called a Tekken, or the monuments, such as the Washington, D.C. monument, is so prevalent around the world. You know, in the Basilica, you know, in St. Peter, you know, Square, you know, they have the Tekken there. You know, we have it right there in London, you know, downtown, you know, not too far from Isis River, you know, and then we have it in Washington, D.C., the main hubs, as we know, you know, in which that, or the centers of the world in which that, you know, try to control the world, you know. You know, we have the financial, the military, and the religious, you know. So, as you said, the religion definitely is part of that spell. You know, Dr. York called it the spell of Leviathan. He later called it the spell of Kingu. Whatever term that we want to use, religion definitely is a spell on which that we have to break out of. And, you know, I'm glad that you was able to break out of it. You just instinctively knew that something was wrong. I wish everyone else had that same, you know, capability.
Yeah.
You know, they don't. However, you know, this is the thing where reading and comprehension comes in that, as it is very needed, you know, and for those that don't do it, is detrimental to us. So.
Absolutely. I think that, back to another dream, a black woman in a wheelchair came to me in 2011. And she said, baby, she said, I'm going to need you to pray me out of here. And I said, who are you? She said, well, I did what I came to do, and it's time for me to go. And it's me, her, a small group of people, some type of elder who he was teaching us how to listen to the vibrational frequency of planets and interpret it as music. And as I was listening to each planet, it made a symphony, one of the most beautiful symphonies I had ever heard. And he said, these are vinyl planets or vinyl records. He said, that's where y'all got the idea for vinyl records from, planets. He was like, and as the planets move and shift, they create music. He said, then all of a sudden, as I'm talking to the black woman in a wheelchair, the music started to get chaotic. And as the music got chaotic, she grabbed my hand and she said, it's almost time. And he said, pay attention to the sounds of the universe. When it is time for the reset, the sounds of the universe will become chaotic. The frequency will be chaotic. I prayed with her and she told me she was going to leave at 5 a.m. I never figured out what the significance of that was, but it was right before sunrise. And she said, I'm going to leave at 5 a.m. I held her hand. I prayed with her, and she said she was passing it on to me. I'm thinking this is an ancestor or something that I never met, you know, and I didn't think anything of it. Uploaded it to YouTube because I was like, I'm going to start sharing these experiences on YouTube. This was 2011. And fast forward years from many different experiences that happened to me that confirmed to me she was a representation symbolizing the church. And she was letting me know she was wounded. She was wounded. Her time was up. That's why she was in a wheelchair and she was ready to go. And she said that our people must come out of the temples and know that they are the temples. That our people must awaken and be aware of the music that is created through the actions that they take, through the grunts that they make, through the sounds that they make. And so this was, you know, like I said, me awakening and coming out of religion, it was just so many things that happened where it was just undeniable. You know, you can't, Steven Spielberg ain't wrote no movie that good. I can't make that up, you know. So saying that to say this, one of the most unfortunate things that is happening right now, because the expiration date for the Willie Lynch letter curse, the expiration date for the creation of United States, quote unquote, 250 years, which we come back into astrologically, Neptune and Aries, Saturn and Aries, whenever these planets position this way, Uranus and Gemini, there's always wars, civil war, revolutionary war, World War I, World War II. History does repeat itself, okay? And so with all of this happening, with people who have not been able to pull themselves out of the need for the comfort their religion brings to them, they're actually feeding into the very system that's putting its foot on our necks. And because they're unaware and they don't know that they're quantum processors, they don't know the damage that is doing to our world. And so every war that is going on right now is a religious war.
Right.
If we would leave the hive mind that was controlled to lock us down on this planet, because we're not from here, we're not terrestrial.
Right.
We're celestial beings who've been operating in a prison. And on top of that, so you have some prisons that have the illusion of freedom called churches, but then you have other prisons that are actually industrial complexes prisons. We never hear about who own them, but the way that they're positioned on maps across the United States, it creates a quantum chip processor. It's a motherboard, the way that they're positioned. They never pick these places by coincidence. The church on every corner, the dialysis centers, the prisons. All of this is sacred geometry being used to absorb energy. And now because our energy is starting to get so uncontrollable and chaotic and off the charts, they need data centers to help them manage it. And this is why we have AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to say, as we know, them working on 6G, 7G.
Mm-hmm.
They done went past 5G. We was worrying about 5G 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We definitely done went past that now. So, they're already working on 6G and 7G.
Mm-hmm.
And, we need to focus, because like you said, I'm pretty sure these data centers is going to be connected to that, as well as these data centers are based on ley lines, based on energy grids, based on power points, similar to mounds, similar to, pyramids, putting them in specific areas, and I noticed that one thing in which that they're not talking about is the way that these particular data centers need so much water, but they are needing so much water, but in the same regard, they are polluting the water. The water in which that was once clear is now brown.
Yep.
So I think they want to destroy the memory factor, because we know that water has over 440,000 channels of memory.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are, trying to destroy that memory. We ourselves, 75% water, the contamination is just crazy, and so I think these data centers is part of that scheme as well.
Absolutely. Actually, the reason why hantavirus was such a significant ritual of siphoning energy, people's energy.
Right.
And hanta comes from the word han in Chinese, and han means arid land or dry land. The lack thereof clean water, dry soil. So we have the combination of that. But these gods are demanding libations. That's why they require water. They say that it's to cool them. There are many other ways that they could use to cool those processors. But they're demanding the libations to take the molecular structure of the water.
Think about it. We don't need no water for the cell phone.
Exactly.
We don't need no water for the laptops, for the computer system.
Exactly.
For Xerox printing machines. We don't need no water for any of those. So why would we need water for processes? What is this processing? Us. Right, exactly.
Us, the quantum processors. They've created quantum processors for the quantum processors because we're being activated. And I looked into a future timeline where I saw us doing some really phenomenal things, healing each other with just energy, learning, downloading technology, ancient information that is not in any books. See, I went back to the library. I'm telling off on myself, Dr. Bey. See, look, you do this to me. I be trying to preserve information.
I have to get you to get it out.
Oh, you gotta be telling it on myself. I went back to the library at Alexandria when it was destroyed, and I asked what was the reason that I was being shown that. And I said, because to me, this is something that negatively affected us. And they said, no, the information was transferred into the black bodies before they even got here. And I said, well, where is it? And they said, it's in the mitochondrial DNA. It's in the DNA that they want to call it junk. The only reason why they're calling it junk is because they haven't been able to colonize and access it and repurpose it. That right there just took me to a whole new level in my spiritual journey. So I've been telling women, I created a coven. This was my 3rd year creating a coven. Because women with wombs, we can tune in to our wombs and do things that can't be done with the mind. And it's something that I do see sometimes other people posting it publicly, but that's not something that I have been instructed to do. I've been instructed to put it behind a paywall and to keep it small for the people who are going to follow the steps to access the coven. And that's in my members only on YouTube. But this is how I do a lot of this stuff, is with the technology of my own body. So, yeah, they didn't get rid of the information. They said that they transferred it before they even burned down the library because the oracles had already told them that they was going to come and do that.
Right. All right. Indeed. I ain't got nothing to say on that.
Okay. The last thing that I was going to, let me make sure I ain't missed nothing.
Okay.
Like I said, we definitely can meet up again and do a run through. Because a lot of times I'm just sitting on this information. Ernest will tell you, I call the masculine in. This is just what feels right for me. But when a masculine energy outside of my own masculine is in my space, it does allow me to channel even deeper and share more. So I wanted to talk about Moloch. And the reason I want to talk about Moloch is because Moloch is also reorganizing his system. So the old money system is not feeding Moloch the way that it used to. Some would say that this is the god of money, right? So this is why they're creating digital currency. The digital currency, unlike paper money in the Federal Reserves, it will be backed by our body, our physical body, and everything that we talked about. So sympathetic magic operates on two principles. Like produces like. And once connected, you are always connected. Sympathetic magic can be done through using someone's name or someone's visual image. So for all of us that's got social media profiles, we got images everywhere in the digital world, on the internet, know that allows sympathetic magic to be done on us. Back in the old days, before we had this digital technology, people would do spell work with just someone's picture or someone's name or doll. So the demigods said, we need a system where we could log in to people's energy field non-locally at all times. So when you pay tithes to a church, what it does is it funds the war. And when you fund the wars, the karmic energy that is supposed to fall on the ones who are orchestrating the wars, it bypasses them and it goes to the people who are actually funding the wars through the money being paid through the church. So what happens is they're interacting with Moloch and they don't know. They don't know that that money is being used to fund the wars and the people who create them. So what happens is this allows violence to... We okay over there? Sound like NASCAR.
Yeah. they be racing around here like crazy.
Yeah, that sound like NASCAR. So what the reason why it's so much...
I be wondering where the police be at.
Yeah.
Because they be going... Anybody else going 3 miles an hour, they on their hands, but these mugs can run up and down the streets.
Yeah, they do it here too. Like this the new earth. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like stuff that wasn't normal is normal now. But the violence that happened in black neighborhoods that they call black on black violence, it's because of this sympathetic magic. It's destiny swapping. It's channeling the karma that should go to the people that's orchestrating the wars, but it goes to the people who don't know no better. And so it hits their communities.
Right.
On top of that, England created what we would call the justice of peace, where you go and get your marriage contract. Within that ceremony, a spell was embedded inside that ceremony. And just to take out one phrase to keep it short as we approach, the ending of our show today, but till death do us part is also another spell work that was created on top of people paying tithes that fuels the wars. And what that does is it manipulates your next lifetime before you get there. So because there is no death, and energy cannot be destroyed and it takes on a new form, you are now quantum entangled with someone that maybe you were only supposed to have that experience within that one lifetime. So what happens is that keeps us incarnating in families with people where maybe our mom used to be our husband. Maybe our daughter used to be our uncle. It crosses up the bloodlines across lifetimes.
Right.
What you think about that? Because I'm throwing some stuff out there.
I just had a brother yesterday to tell me that he think that in the past life I was his father.
See, there we go. Yep.
And this was just yesterday, so I know what you're saying is true.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
And the only way I get this when I go into the Akashic Records, like when I work with clients and I go into the Akashic Records, I kept seeing this happen over and over again. And I was like, have you ever been married? And they'd be like, yeah. Did you have some issues in your marriage? Yeah, well, what were the issues? It was the same thing every time. So, so this is, like I said, is through my own exploration that I come to these conclusions. These are things that I have not ever found in somebody's books. But I'm writing it as I go. So what happens is, the religious wars, that's the reason they're the worst wars. Because it's not really over land and resources. It's fought to generate low frequency emotional energy, fear, rage, grief. And what happens is that energy, they take it and put it as a ring around the earth. So when souls leave the body, they can't get out of that ring, which it's a firmament level, but it's also a ring that has been artificially generated. So what happens is You hit that ring, it looks like light. You go into the light, you get snatched back down here into a low frequency situation. So we're not fully ourselves because we're being manipulated energetically. So the family that you're choosing has been manipulated before you even was really able to give consent, because you were unaware of the spell casting and sorcery that was taking place behind the scenes.
Right.
So with the Crusades, with the Inquisitions, the genocides, all of these things are ritualistic sacrifices performed on a massive scale to power the prison planet. But now, because I watched the Pope's soul leave, the night that he passed away, whenever somebody passed away, it's very rare that I don't know. It's something that I could see on them. I knew it was going to happen. I said, after he opened his fifth portal, because they called it that. I didn't. I said, after he opened his fifth portal, he go leave. That night, now this was not intentional, because I could care less about where he was going when he left here. But it was important for me to see this. But that night, I dreamed that I saw his soul leaving. And I followed him. I be doing some wild shit. Y'all got to get into lucid dream. If you ain't got into lucid dreaming, it takes practice, but it's something definitely that's worth it. But I followed him. He went through the zodiac of Cancer. We went through that ring that's around the planet. We went through it, which shocked me, because I was like, okay, now if he get through this ring that they done put up to stop souls from being able to go organically where they're supposed to go, I know something. He went through the ring, through the firmament. I followed him, had never been that far out before. I'm feeling uncomfortable as I'm following him. He went into the crab, which is the zodiac sign of Cancer. I got my brave ass was scared, but I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and follow him anyway. And when I got to the edge, everything in my being, I could feel all my ancestors was like, bitch, take your ass back. So, so I stopped and I just watched, turned around, came back to my body, channeled an entire message from what I had saw and what that meant. And it took me 3 hours to put all of that together. And that's on my Patreon, because I got banned for sharing 5 minutes of that experience. And something like that, it's easy to write it off and say this person made this up, but it's like, why are you taking my videos down? This is just me sharing a dream. If it's not accurate,
right?
And they took it down.
Exactly.
And this was when TikTok was the wild west, and you could post anything.
That's because they know that is accurate.
Yeah. Because I looked it up and found out that he was a Cancer. That's his zodiac sign. But yeah, it was connected to the Dracos, where he went next to work for the Dracos. The Dracos got factions. They not even all moving on one accord. We got Draco on Draco crime intergalactically. So I've been able to. I've saw UFOs my whole life. My mom saw UFOs. My daddy saw UFOs. It's not a strange thing in my family.
Right.
And so that's just another thing where I'm able to download intergalactic information. A lot of the information that people giving, they get some of it right, some of it not. But the crazy thing about that experience, what it showed me, what we're doing on this planet, especially if you feel like you're not good enough, you're not enough, you don't know enough, whatever, it don't matter. Whatever you feel, and I'm telling you, you are important if you are here in this time. And what we do on a day-to-day basis is actually causing shifts on a cosmic level where people on this planet whose body is being used as a walk-in for interdimensional beings. This is why we see so much stuff switching up and going ways where you can't really predict it. People say, that wasn't on my bingo card. for this year. That's why. Because our consciousness is creating these ripple effects.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But, let me look and make sure ain't nothing else. So, funding the wars, Malik, this is why we have black on black crime. I'm revealing stuff to y'all that has never been revealed before that I know of. This is where all of that crime come from. This is where the violence come from in our communities. If we stop using our money to fund wars, it will bring peace to our communities. Okay? And every dollar spent is some type of spell being cast, depending on what you do with your money. And the last thing that I wanted to say was this. Why was it so important for rappers to wear crucifixes and Jesus pieces? Nothing about their lifestyle aligned with the doctrine.
Even 5% is wearing damn Jesus pieces. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It just didn't make no sense. I'm like, Nas, what the fuck you got on the damn Jesus piece? And I know your ass is a 5%.
Exactly. It's a percentage of the illusion that they are participating in. So the small hats, which that's going to be on my Patreon, because I had some really weird shit happen when I channeled this information that I'm not going to get into right now, right here. There are certain things that I have to do to create a safe space for that information, and that will come later. If y'all interested in that, I'll give y'all all my links where you can find me everywhere, and you can check out my Patreon. But I can say this much: the small hats are death worshipers, sacrifice worshipers. Zeus. There is a portion of Jesus that is Zeus, which is the eater of children, but there is also a portion of Jesus that represents Isis, Osiris, and Horus. So this can be confusing because they mix so many different things together. They take things that really shouldn't even mix together and mix them together just to make it confusing for people, to keep people stuck. But they worship death. So when you are wearing a crucifix, when you receive an award and you say, first, I want to give an honor to God, you're giving an honor to the God of death and blood sacrifices. So this is the reason why most so-called celebrities have had these deaths happen that we know it's like a spiritual situation that's happening. This is why once those deaths happen, that is payment for them to attain a higher level in their okay, let me put it like this. The E-Files came out. In the E-Files, we found out about all these celebrities that have been participating in these things. These are the same ones that thank God when they win awards, wear crucifixes, in interviews, talk about how good God been to them. They grew up in the church. I learned how to sing in the church. I learned how to play drums in the church. I learned it always went back to the church, and it was so confused to me because I was like, these two things seem like they're supposed to be completely different from one another, and then it was shown to me, no, it's one and the same. So this is the Masonic floor, the black and the white. So they create this polarity, this duality. They manipulate the pillars of Jacob and Boaz, and they use it to create the simulated reality. And so what we don't realize is when they weaponize our music, when they weaponize entertainment, what was happening to us was they were feeding our demons inside of us, bypassing our conscious mind. We didn't know. Whether you was in church listening to gospel or listening to gangster rap, whichever one it was, they was going to make sure they get the quantum processors to carry the information of the simulated reality that is based around blood sacrifice. And then we look up and be like, why we can't never have peace? Why we can't get along? Why we can't build communities together that are actually lasting? Because one thing about all of these other ethnicities and people, they stick together. They believe in each other.
Yeah.
They support each other. They put money behind each other. And I have to be honest. Our people, I'll say, okay, y'all, I got this decode and it's $5. And people, like, it's there. The freedom and liberation of your mind that you're seeking is right there. But if you put $1 to it, it'll throw a lot of people off. And it's because of the spell work that's been done around our minds and around money through what I call the Moloch system of manipulation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop right there. I did say that I was gonna give that Kundalini ritual, and I'll go ahead and share that, and then if that's okay. Okay, I gotta give y'all a solution.
Happy to hear that.
Okay, so with everything that we talked about, we've already talked about some things that we could be doing. But one of the most simple things that you could do is to first let me just read the way I wrote it. So I talked about the milk and honey. I talked about the spinal cord. Okay. So for women, pleasure must be a priority. And when I say pleasure, I mean what you do to take care of you for you. It must be a priority. The neurotransmitters, the chemistry, the hormones that are released within us during moments where we experience pleasure is necessary to help our bodies to handle the burden and the load that has been placed on women over many lifetimes. Okay, so that is a priority. For men, the priority is to have semen retention as a part of how you exist as a man, to hold on to this energy, this secretion within you, so that DMT can work for you in your mind. The whole blue balls things and all that, they created all of that so men would never know how much power that they can obtain to restructure their own reality through their own biological stargate. So with these substances, when the moon and the sun are your cosmic parents, just think of this like the moon, the feminine, the sun, the masculine, okay? So when the moon is in your sun sign, a psycho-spiritual germ gets generated at the base of the spine. It can move up through the solar plexus, the 12-fold nerve clusters. It goes behind the stomach. This helps the vagus nerve, which helps us to get out of survival mode, because a lot of us live there, and that is hell. Living in survival mode is synonymous with living in hell. Okay? So if you will fast, eat light during this time, withhold your semen, and for women to activate using pleasure, this will help you to raise that honey and milk up the spine. It usually is a 2.5 day window. Okay? So when the moon is in your sun sign, you will feel your appetite be lighter. Listen to your body. Don't force yourself to eat. Don't overeat. Eat light when you do. Pay attention to your digestive system. This is going to help you to heal your nervous system. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is essential for your cerebrospinal fluid production. Avoid alcohol during this time. Avoid drugs during this time. And try to at least do something to help your body handle the load of heavy metals during this time, because it will pollute the subtle channels. These subtle channels activated. We have 72,000 circuits within our bodies. When a 72,000 circuit come with another person like me and my man, that's 144,000 when you put it together. Okay, so the 144,000 isn't just people. It has multiple meanings. And during this time, you can meditate a lot better, and you can visualize on your inhale the light of the moon, and with the exhale, you are releasing the serpent energy at the base of the spine, not forcing, just allowing it to do what it already naturally knows to do. We do not have to tell our Kundalini energy what to do. It will follow the pathway if it has been cleared and opened for us. So that was it. I will take the entire ritual and put it in a PDF format, and I'm gonna put that on my free tier on my Patreon. And the reason I'm gonna do that, because for people who don't know me yet, I want you all to be able to, play around on my Patreon and see what's there. And if you want to change your tier to a different tier to get access to more information, you can do that. So I'm a giver. I like to give something.
Indeed, indeed. All right, y'all. Y'all gotta give it up. Y'all just had a fantastic episode. Lots of knowledge, lots of wisdom. And hopefully you got some understanding, understanding from everything in which that the goddess Kamsin has stated tonight. Because if you didn't, I suggest that you write it down. Go back and write it down. Do your research, analyze, study, and most of all, read and comprehend. So we want to thank the goddess for coming on, sharing her wisdom, her experiences, her dreams, her visions, her lucidness, if that's a word. All right, and we definitely have much gratitude and love for the goddess. And Brother Ernest, back there too. I don't know if we get a chance to see him. Might have to turn the camera on him right quick.
Yeah.
Peace to the God.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, God. Thank y'all for hooking it up. And before we go, please play another song.
Yes. Okay. So I was thinking about what it really set the tone, because we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to come back. We're going to have to come back and do another one, family, because I got so much more. Yeah, these songs, I create the tracks, the music. I sing the melodies. I write the songs. So I'm taking rituals that I get from ancient Kemet in my dreams, and I'm putting it in music. Most artists don't tell their secrets, but I got a million of them, so I can tell y'all one. So this music is very healing, and it's activating as well.
She produced it all.
Yeah. It's funny. Maybe I'm going to have to show my creative process sometimes. It look real crazy, though. You know how we used to be in the cafeteria in high school, and we used to be on them tables, and we be spitting. And so I do it old school, just like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beat on them tables, do some beatboxing, and let it rip.
Yeah, absolutely. So this song is called "We Are the Power and We Are the Truth," and it's streaming on.
Before you get to the song, goddess, let me say that our live experience, spiritual conversations and business class. This is the live teaching, comedy, audience Q&A, community. Just gonna be in New York, Saturday, June 27th, the Grand Prospect Hall, 263 Prospect Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11215. All right. We're going to start at 2 o'clock. We're ending at 6 o'clock. That's 4 hours. All right. Just making sure everybody understand that. So it's going to be myself, my wife, Kadera, Mark Gregory, who is the nephew of Dick Gregory. All right. Brother Hank Rising Sun, and the goddess Kayla. And we're going to who's the niece of Baba Dick Gregory. All right. So this is going to be an ode to Baba Dick Gregory as we bring the family together, as well as also we're going to speak on these spiritual experiences, these spiritual conversations, and we're going to go into spiritual growth and self-mastery, business and dealing with opportunity, insights. I hope you said that correctly. Community connections and networking, live audience discussion, Q&A, real life situations and solutions, strategies, empowerment through knowledge. So if y'all want some of that, please, New York, Saturday, June 27th. All right? Thank y'all.
All right. On one sheet, because I'm everywhere. Trying to be omnipresent, you feel me? I want to make sure that I'm activating my people and sharing and giving. But this is streaming on all platforms. Like I said, y'all can find this music easily by just searching for my name. I'm probably the only chick with my name and huge black and indigo wings on the cover. And you will know that you found me. Okay, you go cut it up. Let me know when it's ready. Okay.
Once upon a time I had to wear fake face just to feel safe. Ego had to save face. No, I'm in phase where I ain't two-faced. Now I need the crown, I don't need the toupee. 444, yeah, I see it every day. Some think it's crazy, so I'm like, touche. I was misunderstood, now I'm in overstand. Shifting my position to ascension as a brand. In a talk negative is gonna get banned. 10 toes down is the way I understand. Healing bloodlines, my soul been a sign. Making move from my heart, no longer with my mind. Out of pink color, awakening my spine. Like the sun and the moon, I am rising up to shine. Loving on myself like I know I'm a divine. I'm too fine and I'm one of a kind. Some people can't go with me cause we unaligned. It ain't a new day, it's a new timeline. I for the many, cause I'm ready for the few. Ready to break cycles, we are plenty. We are true. We are has a breakout bridge segment. I am the chosen, I am the truth. We are the power, we are the proof. We are the proof. Choir has a breakout bridge segment. I am the chosen, I am the truth. We are the power, we are the truth. We are the truth. We are the proof. We are the proof. We are the proof. We are the proof.
Little sample.
Just a sample. Look, y'all. Look. Y'all see the knowledge as she drops, the music is the same way. I'm telling you.
It be hidden, yeah.
So, this was incredible, fam. Just reach out to me anytime. I'm here. Thank y'all for joining me.
And
this
tingles all throughout the body.
Yeah.
Right there. You know, so I'm telling you, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brother Ernest.
Yes, sir.
And
we appreciate
we out of here, y'all.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Peace, bro.
Peace.